Hi guys, so we're going to start on dividing complex numbers today, which is probably the most difficult thing in complex numbers. It comes up not every year, but a lot of years in the Leaving Cert, but it's always the last question, so it's always the most difficult question there. Not everyone's going to be able to do the whole thing, okay? So, as I said before, we don't have to get the whole thing to get a good amount of marks, right? We can get 60–70% of the marks by just doing the first few steps, because it is quite difficult. We're going to introduce something new to you as well, something called a conjugate. And a conjugate is basically the opposite imaginary number of the denominator here. It sounds a bit tricky, but you'll see it as we go along. So have a go at this today, see how far you get. Obviously I'm here to help, but don't worry if you can't do the whole thing, because I don't expect everyone to be able to do the whole thing. So looking here, I get a question like this in my exam. It has 6 plus 2i over 2 minus 3i. Obviously they're my real parts, they're my imaginary parts. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on the 2 minus 3i. I'm going to get the conjugate of that. So in order to divide, I'm actually going to multiply. So I'm going to rewrite this as 6 plus 2i there, all over 2 minus 3i. And I'm going to times it by the opposite of this. So the opposite imaginary number. So that's 2 minus 3i, so I'm going to times it by 2 plus 3i over 2 plus 3i. Where did I do that? That's a conjugate. That's actually 1, because if you divide that into that, you get 1. So it's just like times in this by 1. So whatever's on the bottom here, I change the imaginary sign. So I do, instead of 2 minus 3i, I do 2 plus 3i, and 2 plus 3i here. So it looks a little something like this. I'm left with 6 plus 2i on 2 plus 3i all over 2 minus 3i on 2 plus 3i. And this is always going to work out nice on the bottom. That's how you know you're doing it right. So I've got 2 multiplications to do here. 2 double brackets. So I've got this and I've got this. So I'm going to do them over here now. And again, as you know, or you may remember from double brackets, I have to do them with a grid. It's probably the easiest way for this. So I'm going to draw a grid of 4 there. I'm going to do 1 here, because I'm going to do 2 separate grids. So to begin with, first one, 6 plus 2i. I'm going to put 6 plus 2i there. And then I go 2 plus 3i here. 2 plus 3i there. I'm going to multiply this out. 2 times 6 gives me 12. 2 times 2i gives me 4i. 3i by 6 gives me 18i. And 3 by 2 gives me 6. I by I gives me I squared. Write it all out. I get 12 plus 4i plus 18i plus 6i squared. They can actually cancel down. 12 plus 4i and 18i gives me 22i plus 6i squared. So that is an important expression for us, because we're going to replace this with that now in a second. It's the same thing, it's just multiplied out. Now look at the second one here. So 2 minus 3i, 2 minus 3i, and 2 plus 3i. 2 plus 3i. Again, 2 by 2 gives me 4. 2 by minus 3 gives me minus 6i. 3 by 2 gives me 6i. And plus 3 by minus 3 gives me minus 9. And we I squared. So I have this, I can simplify it down. I can go 4 minus 6i plus 6i minus 9i squared. And a lot of the time, okay, on the bottom, they're going to cancel out. Minus 6i plus 6i cancels, so then you know you're on the right track. So there you go. And you're going to be left with 4 minus 9i squared. And that is going to be your numerator, so that's going to be on the bottom. So, this is stuff that we did on Friday. So hopefully we're okay on that. And these two here are now going to be replaced by the two in the green box. So this is now going to be written as 12 plus 22i plus 6i squared all over 4 minus 9i squared. Now the other day we had a little rule, I'm just checking it's given to you in the exam. Yep. So I know that I squared is equal to minus 1. Okay? Anywhere of an I squared I can substitute in a minus 1. Let me just put it in red so we can see it. So anywhere I have an I squared up here, I can replace it with a minus 1. So on the top line I can do 12 plus 22i plus 6 times, and instead of I squared I can go minus 1 all over 4 minus 9 times, and again I can replace the I squared there with minus 1. So I'm going to have 12 plus 22i plus 6 by minus 1 is minus 6 all over 4 minus 9 times minus 1. Minus and a minus gives me a plus, so it's going to be 4 plus 4 and 9 gives me 13, and again 12 minus 6 gives me 6 plus 22i all over 4 plus 13 gives me 17. And that's my answer there. Now, there is ways of simplifying that down, right? But that will get you your full marks there. So if something can divide into all three, then, oh, that's 13, sorry. 17. 4 plus 9, my mistake. So there is ways to simplify it down. If something can go into all three numbers, you can do it, but that should get you full marks there. So I'm gonna have a go with these today. Obviously they're long, take a little bit of effort, they're a little bit more tricky, but even if you can just get down to this step and do some of the multiplying there, you're looking at 70% of your marks. This is the last kind of 25-30% at the end here.